It's late April 2007. Tallinn, Estonia, a small Baltic country that most people couldn't find on a map. The streets are quiet after nightfall, but inside government servers, something is breaking. Suddenly, banks go offline, Parliament's website vanishes, news stations go dark, ATM machines freeze, even emergency services can't connect. But there are no bombs, no sirens, no soldiers in the streets. This is something new. The entire country is under attack. And the weapon? Lines of code. Over the next few hours, Estonia, one of the most digitally advanced nations on Earth, will be pushed to the edge of collapse. The culprit: no fingerprints, no flag, just whispers of Russia. How do you take down an entire country without firing a single shot? Who was really behind the first true cyber war in history, and what does it tell us about the digital wars? The cybercrime documentary events that are still to come. This is the story of how hackers took down an entire nation, and why it matters to your security right now. To understand the digital attack, we have to start with the physical spark. April 26, 2007. In the heart of the capital, Tallinn, stands a bronze statue of a World War II Soviet soldier. For decades, it loomed as a symbol of Soviet victory, and for many Estonians, a painful reminder of the decades of Soviet occupation. But to Estonia's ethnic Russian minority, it was a cherished memorial. On this day, the Estonian government made a fateful decision to relocate the bronze soldier from the city center to a military cemetery. As night fell, emotions ignited. Thousands of mostly Russian-speaking protesters gathered. What began as a tense demonstration spiraled into unrest. By midnight, riots erupted, streets filled with angry youths hurling rocks and bottles. Store windows shattered, cars were set ablaze. For 2 nights, Tallinn burned. Authorities finally restored a fragile order on the streets. Shattered glass was swept up, fires were doused, and the bronze soldier was whisked away to its new location. Estonia had weathered the physical storm. But just as the riots ended, something far more dangerous began. Estonia's war wasn't over. It had just moved into cyberspace, and no one was ready for what was coming. The streets of Tallinn are quiet again. But while Estonia cleans up broken glass, something strange is happening online. Late on April 27th, government websites start acting weird. The Prime Minister's site crashes. The National Parliament offline. Across town, news editors at Estonia's largest newspaper are suddenly flooded with comment spam, thousands of junk messages pouring in all at once. It looks like angry readers reacting to the riots. But then, the defacements start. The ruling Reform Party's website is suddenly replaced with a Soviet flag and an angry message. A brazen act of digital vandalism. It's now clear this is no random overload. Someone is deliberately attacking Estonia's online infrastructure. Word spreads among IT staff. Estonia is under cyber attack. Clues soon emerge on Russian-language forums and chat rooms. The early, less structured cousins of today's dark web markets. Users share target lists and simple, amateur tools. Easy scripts designed to flood Estonian sites. It's a literal digital call to arms for tech-savvy nationalists. These were the first shots a wave of simple, but effective, distributed denial of service, or DDoS, assaults. Think of a single-lane bridge suddenly being flooded by thousands of cars all trying to cross at once. That's a DDoS attack. So much junk traffic that legitimate users, the Estonians trying to check the news or government services, can't get through. But here's the part no one saw coming. This was just the warm-up. In the first days of May 2007, a second wave of assaults hit with unprecedented force. This time, it wasn't just volunteer pranksters. A vast botnet army joined the fray. A botnet is a network of compromised computers, known as zombie computers, that have been secretly infected with malware. Hundreds of thousands of these hijacked machines from around the globe, from Vietnam to the United States, were now under the remote control of a single botmaster. They were the unwitting foot soldiers, unleashing a synchronized flood of data toward Estonia. This is the sophistication we usually see in major financial fraud mechanics or state-level espionage. A botnet is a prime example of an internet mystery weapon. Because the actual attackers are hidden behind layers of stolen hardware, the sheer volume was staggering, the equivalent of hundreds of millions of knocks on the digital door all at once. Suddenly, 58 major websites are offline simultaneously. Government portals vanish. Newspapers can't publish. Banking systems freeze. Citizens cannot withdraw cash or use credit cards. This is where the digital attack became a terrifying physical reality. Imagine waking up in Tallinn. You try to pay for gas. Payment systems are down. You rush to an ATM. It's out of service. This is the goal of true cybercrime documentary events, generating panic and economic collapse. The financial impact was immediate. A chilling demonstration of how deeply reliant modern society is on a functional internet. Even the National Emergency Hotline faced outages. Information blackout. Panic in the air. Estonia's two-man computer emergency response team, their CERT, worked round the clock. They were playing digital whack-a-mole with a ghost army. To survive the onslaught, they made a drastic move, temporarily severing international internet connections. It was like pulling up the drawbridge during a siege. Painful, but necessary. It stopped the flood. But it also cut off Estonians from the outside online world. For nearly 2 weeks, the barrage continued, testing every defense. Slowly, by mid-May, the tide began to recede. One by one, websites flickered back to life. The siege was over. The country survived. Barely. But the biggest question remained: who did this? Estonia's leaders pointed east at Russia. The motive, the bronze soldier, was clear. Moscow, of course, denied everything. Insisting there was no hard proof, the Russian state pressed the attack button. This is the fundamental problem of cyber defense attribution. Attackers can mask their identity with a few clicks. The botnets made the traffic look like it came from everywhere at once, routed through compromised servers on distant continents. However, investigators found tantalizing hints. The Russian forum postings coordinating the attacks weren't exactly a secret. Months later, a leader of the pro-Kremlin youth movement, Nashi, bragged to the press that he organized the cyber attack, whether he was telling the truth or covering for his government. The line was officially blurred. The 2007 attack on Estonia showed that cyber war doesn't need to be state official to be state-sponsored. It can be a patriotic hacker uprising that the government simply chooses to ignore, or even quietly enable. Estonia's ordeal did not end in vain. The nation became an unlikely global leader in cybersecurity. They beefed up their defenses and created new cybersecurity protocols designed not just for prevention, but for rapid recovery, a concept known as digital resilience. The rest of the world woke up. This could happen to any of us. In the aftermath, NATO established its Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, the CCDCOE, in Tallinn, Estonia. This made the country a central hub for cyber warfare research. They developed the Tallinn Manual, a document that attempts to apply international law to cyber conflict, asking if a massive DDoS attack could one day be treated like an armed invasion. The echoes of this first cyber war are everywhere, particularly in high-profile cybercrime documentary cases. Take the Colonial Pipeline hack in 2021. This was a ransomware attack, likely initiated by a phishing email, which shut down a major U.S. fuel pipeline. This was not a DDoS, but it had the same paralyzing effect on critical infrastructure. Or consider business email compromise, or BEC, fraud. Think of the $100 million lost by Facebook and Google between 2013 and 2015. A scammer simply impersonated an employee from a major supplier and sent a series of fake invoices. It's not a botnet, but it exploits the same vulnerability trust in the digital network. This level of financial fraud shows how low-tech social engineering can cause high-impact damage. The battlefield has expanded into your office, your bank account, and your smart home. So, what can you do to fight back? This isn't just about nation-states anymore. Every one of us is on the digital front line. Here are 3 critical rules from the Digital Sleuth to protect yourself from the next wave of cybercrime and digital threats. First, master the art of phishing defense. Phishing, where criminals trick you into giving up information, is still the #1 entry point for malware, ransomware, and major hacks. The rule of the hover: always hover your mouse over a link before clicking, especially in emails. Look at the true URL in the bottom corner of your screen. Does it match where it's supposed to go? If you get an email from PayPal but the link is P4YPAL, 10 Ru, log in. Delete it. Also, beware of the urgency trap. Phishing attacks thrive on panic. Your account will be suspended in 24 hours. Stop. Breathe. Close the email. Then open your browser and go to the official website directly. Never click the link in the suspicious email. Second, embrace multi-factor authentication, or MFA. MFA, or two-factor authentication, is your digital drawbridge. Even if a hacker successfully steals your password through a dark web scam or a data breach, they still can't get into your account without that second code sent to your phone. Enable it on everything: your email, your bank, and all social media. For the tech detail, you want to use an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or Authy over SMS texts. Phone numbers can be hijacked in a process called SIM swapping, making text codes less secure than app-generated ones. Third, patch and update ruthlessly. The botnet that attacked Estonia was built by exploiting vulnerabilities. Unpatched security flaws in software. The fix: every time your computer, phone, or router asks to update, it is likely fixing critical security holes. Stop hitting later. For smart home security, if you have smart devices, a camera, a thermostat, a doorbell, change the default username and password immediately. Many IoT botnets, like the famous Mirai botnet, are built almost entirely from unsecured smart devices with default credentials. The Estonian cyber attacks were a warning shot from 2007, showing us that the battlefield has become invisible. It proved that in a modern, connected society, the most dangerous enemy may be the one you can't even see, a shadow force operating in the quiet hum of servers. But the lesson isn't fear, it's preparedness. By understanding the mechanics of these attacks, from the botnets used in a state-level assault to the phishing tricks that lead to crippling financial fraud, we can all build stronger defenses. Stay vigilant, stay secure, and I'll see you in the next case. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the first true cybercrime documentary event, hit that like button and subscribe for more investigative stories from the digital underground.